Hello and welcome to the Travelpod. I'm now sitting here with a lady who is used to go traveling in another kind of way. What is your name?
My name is Petra.
How are you traveling around? You are saving money.
Yes, but that's not the main reason why we do this. I'm from Sweden. We do house exchanges every summer. We've done that for 13 years. And the main reason is not to save money. The main reason is to have a different kind of experience than you have if you go to a hotel, maybe an all-inclusive, or to a resort with other hotels. We do this to come closer to the culture and the country and the way of lifestyle that the family that we exchange houses with have. But it's also very cost effective.
Yeah, so that's how you travel. You are a family and you lend your house to another family and you can have their house in another country?
Yes, we do. We live in Gothenburg, Sweden. In a house, you can do this house exchange if you have an apartment as well. It's up to you. We're a member of an organization called Intervac. There you put in your photographs and text about your house, or it could be also a summer house or an apartment. And then we contact families in countries where we would like to go to, their area and their town and their land. And we make an agreement. Usually it takes some while and some interaction with the email and phone before you make the decision if you want to exchange with each other or not.
Where did it start? When did you have your first experience?
Yes, it started actually 14 years ago, maybe 13. We, in my family, both me and my husband, we like to travel a lot, and we've done that before we met each other and also together. And then we got twin boys. We figured out that it's not as easy to travel in an easy way with small children. So when the children were about 1.5 years old, we wanted to go on a summer holiday abroad, because we do that usually. We go abroad a couple of times a year if we can. And I had read about this way of traveling to exchange houses, and I was curious how it worked. So I said, why don't we join this organization to see how it works? So we did. And the first travel we went to, we exchanged with a family in Switzerland, in a suburb to Lausanne, out on the Geneva Lake, is it? Geneva Lake.
Okay.
And they were very nice. They had one child at the same age. They organized so we could have everything we needed with cribs and chairs in the kitchen and everything we needed to have safety for our children. It was a great experience. We went down with the car, and they also took their car to Sweden, and we had so much fun living in that house and experience the area with the children. It went very well, and we decided that this is something we want to do over again. So we've done, I think, 13 exchanges.
Wow, and every vacation has been good so far. No bad experience at all. I think about your house. So you're not afraid of what will happen to your home when you are away?
No, actually not. We are kind of particular with our house. We don't mind if people move around things or so. Usually you have been in contact with this family for maybe sometimes a couple of months before you decide that, okay, the date is good and we can do this, and you maybe organized about plane tickets, and it could be insurance for the house or for the car, because what we do now, we usually exchange both the house and the car, and we have sheets and towels with them, and it could be bikes or mopeds or whatever. Sometimes we even taken care of their house pets. We taken care of chickens, fish, turtles, cats, birds, you name it.
Yeah.
It's been real fun. And what's the worst? If something really bad would happen in their house or in our house, we have insurance. I'm not afraid of that. The worst thing that has happened is that most people from other countries they are not very experienced in sorting trash.
Okay.
So we do that in Sweden a lot. So I have maggots in my trash bin when I come home.
Okay.
I can live with that.
Okay. You mentioned insurance. Do you need to inform insurance company that you will have this kind of guest coming to your house? Or do you need an extra insurance? No, it's only the ordinary?
Well, actually you don't. In Sweden we talked to our insurance company both for the car and for the home. It's no problem. Anybody that stays in the house or drives the car are insured. But in other countries, sometimes we've had to send them a copy of our driver's license or other things, so they can make sure that their insurance is gonna be good for our stay there when it's not the family itself that's using the house or the car. But it's never been a problem. You make a contract also if you want to with the family and you can make some terms if you want something in particular that for them to take care of or to do or not do. You can state that in the contract.
Do you make some comments to each other when this agreement is finished? So your next family who want to change with you, they see this comment. Reference, yeah, that was the word. Would you tell about another nice trip?
Well, actually all our trips have been great. We're not dissatisfied with any of the trips. We have mostly been in Europe, and that's because in the summertime and Northern Europe, we have not been so much in France or Spain or Croatia. We've been to Germany a couple of times, to England a couple of times, to Belgium, to Switzerland a couple of times. All trips have been really, really good. So, because you get the tips, the secret tips from the families that live in that particular area where you're going to stay. So if I usually ask them, what do you do on weekends? Where do you go with the family? Simple things like where can you buy the best ice cream or the best merry-go-round or playground when the children were smaller. Things that you cannot find out if you go to a tourist agency. They give us those tips. For instance, when we went to England when the children were about 3.5, I think, they had a sheet with just a couple of lines on every tip that this is a place we like, this is a place we go to, here you can do this and you can do that. We made through all that list and it was great. In England they have farms that in the summertime they turn into kind of tourist attractions. You can go there to have a coffee and take a trip with a tractor around the grounds, or maybe different kind of amusements for children. And this is just known for the locals who live there. You can't find this out on internet or on a tourist agency. So these types of things we have done. It's been great.
Yeah, wow, that's great. Yeah, have you also made friend with the family? So you meet again? Have you come back to the same family?
No, we haven't. We like to go. We've been back to countries, but in different towns or small villages. We like to go to new places every time. So we have not been back to any of the families. We met them sometimes once by chance at the airport. They came with the plane that we were leaving with.
Wow!
And we recognized them from the photos on the site. Sometimes last year we went to pick up a family who chose not to go by plane from Switzerland. They chose to go by train and by boat. So we picked them up at the boat in Gothenburg and took them with our car to our house, showed them around, and then went to the airport to go to their house. But mostly you exchange keys in some way or another. Send it or leave it with the neighbor or put it out in the garden or something.
Okay. And how about the cost per year?
Yes, of course. You pay a membership fee, so all the information is free for anybody. But the one thing that is not free, that you can not make an exchange agreement with anybody if you're not a member. You pay, I think, maybe between 80 or 90 euros per year to be a member, and then you get all the information, plus you get contact information to all the families all over the world.
Do you have other experience before this, when you were younger and single? How did you travel then?
Well, I think I was more traditional when I was, and maybe more afraid. When I was younger. Now it's mostly family travels, and then we travel. I would like to go on train. You tågluffa. I don't know the word in English. It's you buy a ticket and you can go anywhere.
Interrail.
Interrail with the family. I haven't done that yet. And I think in the future, when we're not going to go so much on family vacations, that I'm going to do more of these kind of things.
And what do you think about single person? Can they use this? Is it also smaller rooms and apartment to switch?
Yes, I think so, because you can choose. When you search for somewhere to go, you can choose an area, a country, a town, a village, small apartment, 2 beds, 4 beds, 6 beds. You can choose sea. You choose town or urban area or country area. So I think it's something for everybody. I think there's a lot of people who are by themselves who do this as well, and sometimes they change with somebody who's also by themselves or not, or 2 people or 3 or 4, whatever. So it's really up to any member how they make this switch and what kind of agreement they want.
Is this big in Sweden? Have you ever met somebody who are doing the same in Sweden?
Yes, I have. I have an acquaintance that do this, but actually I'm surprised that more people do not do this. It's much more fun in the way. It's very relaxed way of traveling. You come to an apartment or house, you have everything, all the appliances, everything that you need in a different way than you have in a hotel. You can wash clothes, you can cook if you want to. You usually have maybe a garden or a balcony. You have all things that you would have normally, like a TV and a couch or 2. So it's very relaxing, plenty of space. So you live as the person who lives in that apartment or house. You live their life, kind of. You go to their store. You meet the neighbors. You interact with the neighbors if you want to. You have instructions of doing this or that. If you have animals that you take care of. So it's a very different way than if you go to a hotel resort area. You see things that you would never see if you're a tourist in a tourist area, and you also get inspired in the way that other people live. You look at their CDs, you play their music, you might watch the DVDs that they have in their home, and so you get inspired to do things that you would not normally do and in your home.
I can see you can pick up ideas that you can take home and get use of it. Yeah. You have been to some other countries too. Would you tell about some more experience?
Well, we've been, and our children are very spoiled with experience that you don't do normally, that you cannot do in a normal way of travel. We've done one very long travel. That was to Quebec in Canada.
Wow.
The French part of Canada. We had, that was very interesting. It was a long conversation with our family, because this was a family of 4. They have 2 teenage daughters. It was by chance. I've written to them. I thought it would be fun to do a very long exchange, to go further than just Europe. They said we need to decide this ahead of time, maybe half a year. Okay, why? Because one of their daughters had a disability. She had Asperger's syndrome. She had, it's called friendship dog.
Wow.
It's called Mira dog.
I never heard about it.
Now in Canada. And so this dog is her companion. It goes with her everywhere, to school and to all their travels, and has its own passport.
Wow, so they need to prepare for the dog to come. Yeah.
Yes, so we needed to make this agreement ahead of time for them to be able to buy plane tickets. In this area, it was very nice, very small part of Canada, because it's huge.
Yeah.
And one thing we did there, and this is very typical for our travels, is that we went to world's largest vertical windmill.
Wow.
It's called, my husband is very fond of technique, you could say. So we usually go to technical museums or things like this. And we were talking, okay, one night we said, okay, tomorrow, should we go to Montreal to experience Montreal? He said, well, for 7 years I had wanted to experience Cap Chat. Okay, I said, what's that? Well, this is the world's largest windmill. It's more than 100 meters high. It looks like a very, very, very big balloon. I don't know the word in English. What you mixer, you said, that you mix things with. And so we went there. It was, I don't think many Swedes have been to Cap Chat.
No, I never heard about it.
I never heard about it. It's more than 100 meters high, and you can actually climb inside the windmill and go outside 100 meters up in the air to see the area from this windmill.
Oh, wow. It sounds nice.
That was a great experience.
But was it in the summertime you went?
We went in the summertime, yes.
So no skiing then?
No skiing this time.
Have you never changed in the wintertime so you could have the skiing and the winter experience?
Well, this is our goal in the future, actually, from this year. Because before we had 2 or maybe 3 weeks in the summer, but now we're thinking of that we could do maybe a long weekend to a city to change with somebody who wants to come a couple of days in Europe, or we can go during Easter. We are still bound by school holidays because of the children. So yes. I would love to go to Slovenia to ski. That's one of my goals. Wow. There are so many things that we haven't done, so many exchanges to be done. So we're going to do that definitely.
So you have a lot of choices in this community, all over the world.
I don't think every country has members. I think that there's most countries in Europe, not so many in Asia, but Canada and Northern America and some in Southern America. Not so much maybe in Australia, but I don't know. This is something that you need. Australia definitely, because I've been in contact with the Australian families. There are a lot of Swedish families that do this and are members and have. So you can exchange with another city in Sweden as well. You can exchange within your own country as well if you want to. It's up to you.
Maybe that's easy start to feel how it is.
Maybe, but I think it's more fun to go to another country.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. Where will you go next?
Well, this is also a great story because I figured out that maybe we should do a longer tour. You can put, if you're searching the site as a member, you can put, and if you find something you like, you can put that, you can kind of mark it as a favorite. I saw that one family in Costa Rica,
Costa Rica.
they had marked us as a favorite. And I got very curious about what is this. So I start to search their offer and their photos and their text. And by that I could see that they were either descendants from Sweden or had relatives here. So I wrote to them and said, okay, we're very interested to go to Costa Rica. Would you consider exchanging with us? And they said, well, we already have an exchange that we are talking with in Gothenburg, in town. And okay, we don't live in town. But then we continued the conversation, talked to them and... I've talked them into exchanging with us instead.
Right. Yeah, you can sell your house to anyone.
I can. So we are going 3 weeks to Costa Rica. We are going to stay in the middle of nowhere. It doesn't even have an address, I think, in their house. And they are coming to our house. They have relatives here nearby where we live. And we're using their house, their car, and their four-wheeler for free. Well, we're paying for petrol and plane ticket. And we eat. But that's about it.
That will be a nice experience. Yeah, thank you very much for this nice talk. Have a good trip now next. You want to say something more, I think.
I want to say, I hope this pod inspires more people to know more about this way of doing vacation, to exchange an apartment or house, because it's so much fun that I cannot even describe it.
Thank you very much, Petra. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Musiken vi hörde i programmet kommer ifrån Ben Sound Free Music.